Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 Tumwater City Council meeting, and we will start off with roll call.
Councilmember Leota Dahlhoff,
Present.
Councilmember Angela Jefferson,
Present.
Councilmember Joan Cathy,
Present.
Councilmember Eileen Swarthout,
Present.
Councilmember Michael Althauser,
Present.
Councilmember Peter Agabi,
Present.
Councilmember Kelly Von Holtz,
Present.
Mayor Debbie Sullivan.
And I am here. And Councilmember Althauser will start us off with our pledge.
Please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this evening we have three proclamations, and the first one is the Public Works Week proclamation, and Councilmember Swarthout will read that.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas public works programs and services for Tumwater are a joint effort of the Water Resources and Sustainability Department and the Transportation and Engineering Department. Together, they provide essential services that are an integral part of our community, such as water, sewer, stormwater, streets and sidewalks, fleet maintenance, engineering, and geographical information systems. And whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Tumwater. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, natural resources, water treatment and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for the people in our city. And whereas it is in the public interest of the individuals, businesses, civic leaders, and youth in Tumwater to learn about and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs. And now, therefore, Debbie Sullivan, Mayor of the City of Tumwater, does hereby proclaim May 18th through May 24th, 2025, Public Works Week, and calls upon the people of the City of Tumwater to learn about our public works facilities and services and to recognize our water resources and sustainability and transportation and engineering employees for the substantial contributions they make to protect our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life in Tumwater.
Great, thank you. Do I have staff that are going to accept? I figured so, but I wanted to make sure. So if you want to just say a few moments and I will bring the proclamation down.
Have a script. We do have a script. I'll get started, yeah. Good evening, Mayor and members of Council. My name is Georgiana Hupp. I am the Geographic Information Systems Analyst for the City of Tumwater. This is my colleague, Alyssa Jones-Wood, the Sustainability Manager for Tumwater. We are very pleased to be here and to accept this nomination. This year's theme for National Public Works Week is People, Purpose, and Presence. And we want to take a moment to think about what that means for the City of Tumwater. Our Public Works Department strives daily to put people first, completes its work with purpose, and maintains a visible presence in the community. Residents of Tumwater know that we will be there to help and provide essential services like clean, reliable drinking water, we keep sewer moving, we treat our stormwater, and we provide accessible streets and sidewalks. I believe that this year's theme is appropriate because it highlights the integral work that we do every day to build and maintain a better community. Additionally, the focus on people aligns with our mission and beliefs. We believe in people, and we believe in working with a purpose towards continuous improvement. Maintaining a presence in our vibrant community builds trust, allows us to engage directly with residents, and makes Tumwater a great place to live, work, and play.
Public Works Week gives us a chance to celebrate all the contributions and efforts of Public Works employees that silently work to support our thriving community. Our public works professionals plan, design, build, manage, and operate the infrastructure and right-of-ways that allow us all to enjoy and grow in our community. Whether it's providing water, wastewater, transportation, mapping, resource sustainability, right-of-way management, or fleet services, our public works departments are always at the ready to serve our community where we live and work. So on behalf of our two departments and all of the colleagues who work together to provide daily, year-round, essential public works services, we thank you for your support and this recognition. Thank you for celebrating this week with us and acknowledging the importance of people that supports the streets, pipes, pumps, sidewalks, plans, budgets, maps, urban forests, climate response, and projects for the everyday quality of life of those in Tumwater. We will be enjoying our Public Works Week with a picnic, so to speak, on Thursday, and we invite you to come celebrate with us and all the work that's done every day by the members of WERS and TED departments. And thank you again for this recognition. I think I had one more picture. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mary.
So with that, I'll let you share the proclamation and you eat. Yes, a pen. There you go. Thank you so much.
you.
Uh-huh.
Where's the picnic?
Tumwater Historical Park. I think it's 11 to 1 on Thursday. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Our next proclamation is National Boat Safety Week. And Councilmember Von Holtz will be reading that.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas an average of 700 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., with the vast majority of those accidents caused by human error and poor judgment, and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. And whereas a large number of Tumwater's residents of all ages engage in recreational boating, and whereas the mission of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Division 3, overseeing the South Puget Sound area, is to promote and improve recreational boating safety by teaching boating safety courses and conducting vessel safety checks. Now, therefore, Debbie Sullivan, Mayor of the City of Tumwater, do hereby proclaim May 17th through 23rd, 2025, National Safe Boating Week, and encourages all Tumwater residents to dedicate themselves to learning about and practicing safe boating, including wearing life jackets. Signed in the City of Tumwater, Washington, and recognized on this 20th day of May in the year 2025.
Great, thank you. And we have a member of the Coast Guard here this evening, and if you want to say a few words.
First, I'd like to thank Mayor Sullivan and the City Council for bringing extra light to safe boating in and around water by wearing the life jacket. This year, National Safe Boating Week runs from May 17th, Saturday, to May 23rd, Friday, with the goal of bringing focus on responsible boating and life jacket use. Excuse me. In and around Thurston County, many public water access points have loaner life jacket stations. Now, these are free to use, maintained, and inspected by the community, not by any specific organization. These are individuals in your community that are looking out for our children and ourselves. Now, sadly, U.S. Coast Guard statistics from 2023 show that 87% of boating-related drownings, a life jacket was not worn. The simple act of wearing a properly fitting, activity-appropriate life jacket that is Coast Guard approved would indeed save countless lives every year. Thank you.
So here is the proclamation, and you will also get a pen. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for everything you do, and thank you for being here this evening. So
Well, thank you for having me.
you bet. Thank you. Do you want to? Did you get a picture, Jason? Okay. Thank you. All right, and our next proclamation is for the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And Councilmember Dolhoff will be reading that.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas Asian Pacific American Heritage Week was established by Congress in 1978 to commemorate the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants to the United States on May 7th, 1843, and to honor the critical contributions of Chinese laborers to the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad on May 10, 1869. And whereas Asian Pacific American Heritage Month was officially designated in 1992 to celebrate the historical and cultural contributions of AANHPI communities across the United States. And whereas in 2000, the Washington State Legislature officially proclaimed the month of May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month in recognition of the state's vibrant and diverse population, which includes representation from 48 Asian and Pacific Island nations. And whereas Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month provides an opportunity to reflect on the systemic discrimination, exclusion, violence, and other challenges faced by AANHPI communities, while renewing our commitment to creating a more inclusive and equitable society for all. And whereas the City of Tumwater proudly embraces the cultural diversity of our community and honors organizations and families and individuals of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander descent and appreciation for their invaluable contributions that enrich and sustain us as a community. And now, therefore, Debbie Sullivan, the mayor of the City of Tumwater, does hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And she calls upon the people of the City of Tumwater to celebrate the contributions of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders in our community and across the nation.
Thank you. And we have some representatives, and whoever would like to come to the podium and speak, I would much appreciate it. Thank you. All of you can come up if you want.
Thank you very much, or as we would like to say in my island of Chuuk, Micronesia, Rananim. Thank you so very much to all of you for honoring our Asia Pacific community and people in May. As proclaimed by Governor Inslee in May 2016 in Washington State, we celebrate this month to recognize the contributions and influence of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, and their history, culture, and achievements on the United States. APIC SBS is part of a statewide coalition that was created after the 1996 Welfare Reform Act significantly impacted and reduced non-citizens' federal eligibility for public assistance program. After recognizing the need for a collective voice advocating for the rights and equity of foreign-born Asian and Pacific Islanders, API, APIC began lobbying for the Washington State Legislature to address the gap created by federal legislation. Today, we continue to strive to honor our history, nourish our community, committed to equity and justice, and leading and building solidarity with our immigrant community, and in collaboration with all ethnic groups. So in this month, we would like to celebrate being part of this nation and our communities, and we would like to continue to be an integral part of all the development. Starting last December, we have put effort in organizing a series of events and activities to celebrate AAPI heritage in Washington State. We hope through these events, we can inform and educate people about those AANHPI members among us and offer programs and resources to promote understanding and appreciation of our AANHPI history and culture. Please join us on May 24th for the celebration event at Evergreens Longhouse and share your stories through our My Story project this year. We love to see you all at our celebration. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
My name is Donette Mahelani Paishon, and I am a member of Mokoka Aina Wakini Kona Hawaiian Civic Club, and I also have Ali'i Naipo. There's just a couple things I really feel the need to say, and most of all, I'm very grateful. Our club is very grateful to be, and all Native Hawaiians in the state of Washington. I'm very grateful for this honor. Our group, our club, was founded in 2006 by the Baker family in the Tacoma Lacey area. However, did you know that Native Hawaiians have been in the state of Washington since 1787? We were very, very crucial to the fur trade, to building Astoria and all that area. The other thing is that there are more Native Hawaiians living on the continent now than there are back in the islands. And the state of Washington has the second largest population next to the state of California. So we're here, we're strong, and we've been here for a long time. But very, very grateful to be here and honored. And thank you very much. Yeah.
Anyone else want to speak? If not, I can go ahead and present the proclamation. Did you want to speak? Okay.
Okay, hi. My name is Bob Nakamura. I'm a member of the APIC group, along with the Olympia, Washington, Kanto, Japan Sister Cities group. And I'm also the current president of the Olympia chapter, Japanese American Citizens League. And with the JACL, one of the things that we try to do is, or at least try to better the relationship between the Americans and the Japanese communities. And one of the things that we do with that group is usually around every August, right about the mid-August sometime, we usually put on a community dance where the community comes in and joins us to do a dance. They could do every dance that we do, or they can watch, or just have fun, and just have fun and get together with the whole community. I'm also with the Sister Cities group. We have Olympia, Washington, and our sister city is Kanto, Japan. And we have a delegation from the Olympia area. One set is the adults, another set is the students. And to reciprocate, Kanto will send a delegation of adults from Japan to America, to this particular area. And same thing with the students. So there's a student delegation that comes over to visit this area. Fortunately, there's at least one or two in the group that does speak English. And my side of the group, I'm one of the few American-born Japanese that actually can speak Japanese as well as Korean. And as far as the Korean goes, that's I blame the Army for that, because instead of going to Japan, they sent me to Korea. So I ended up learning Korean. So and I actually still use it. And last time I was in Korea was 1985 to 1987, and I still use Korean to this day, as well as Japanese. And most people would laugh at me because the version of Japanese that I use was the 1945 version of it, not 2025. So I get laughed at. It's okay. Okay. So anyway, that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
So I think I didn't bring enough pens with me, but I'm going to present the proclamation, and we can all take a group picture if you would like.
Give you mine.
You want to give, and I can get you another one.
Sorry.
Give her- Yeah, special.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item on our agenda in the special items is we are going to be having a presentation about the lot state of the utility by Executive Director Matt Kennelly.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry, it's been a really long day.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's a common way to say it. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to come here and share with you what we're doing at LOT. It's extra special that it's Public Works Week, and as it relates to LOT serving as your wastewater treatment utility. The city is in charge of collecting wastewater, but ultimately LOT's responsible for that wastewater treatment. So I'll talk a little bit about that tonight, a little bit about our performance, how we look to connect to the community as a utility, and our plans for the future, making sure that we're covering things so as the city of Tumwater continues to grow, LOT's there to respond to that growth. So LOT stands for Lacey, Olympia, Tumwater, and Thurston County. So the 4 local governments got together back in 1976. We're almost 50 years old as an organization. 4 local governments got together and decided it was better to collaborate rather than each of the cities have their own treatment plant. That's the function of LOT, that regional service. We have a board of directors. I think you recognize the Tumwater representative here, Councilmember Dahlhoff, also our vice president of our board. And we meet once a month and go over a lot of business. So that's how we get our work done from a policy standpoint. Our mission is to protect public health and the environment by cleaning water and restoring resources for the community. We have about 140,000 people in our service area. And the way that the system works is, for example, in Tumwater, you all are responsible for building those collection pipes from people's homes. Ultimately, when those pipes connect with other partner jurisdictions like Olympia, that's when LOT takes over. And that means that the city is responsible for how you determine that you want to grow, and then LOT responds to that. You also bill ratepayers, so you charge them the collection fee for your own sewer system as well as the LOT treatment fee. There's some folks that are in the urban growth area of Thurston County, but they're typically connected by the cities, and so that's how that works. All of Tumwater's flow comes down to our Butt Inlet treatment plant. About 20% of our total connections are Tumwater's. And so down at our main treatment plant, we process 13 million gallons per day. And that's how we take a broken water product and make it clean again for you and the environment. We just did a major process upgrade, very proud of it. I'll explain more about that in a little bit. But we also have a variety of other infrastructure. All told, it's about $1 billion of infrastructure that's LOT is responsible for managing and upkeeping. We have a satellite treatment plant out in Lacey called our Martin Way Reclaimed Water Plant. There's interceptor lines, there's storage tanks, there's all sorts of things. But primarily, you can think of LOT as our main treatment plant right downtown. And I think last year when I came, I was trying to give you an estimate of what is 13 million gallons per day like. And I used a football field with a 4-story building on top of it. This year I thought, well, maybe if I take like the giant, I forget, they call it a space. It's basically a ride at Epcot Center if you go to Florida, right? Picture that entire thing filled with wastewater, right? That's what we do every day. That entire volume comes to lot, and that's what we make clean again. We're very highly regulated to do that type of treatment. Our permit comes from the EPA, passed down through the Department of Ecology, very strict discharge limits. We have the most strict discharge limits for treatment on Puget Sound because we're at the bottom of Puget Sound here in our community. But monitoring and reporting all of those, we have about 15,000 samples that we take every year just in order to validate that we're doing this high level of treatment. The EPA also has requirements on how we need to maintain our infrastructure, how we need to make sure we have capacity to expand as we need to. And how we're doing on performance can be seen in our annual reports. We report out each month to our board, but if we just released our annual report, which details a whole variety of different things, the short of it is we met all of our performance metrics that we set out to. We ended our strategic plan. We have a new 6-year strategic plan that we're working towards. And if you flip to the back of that report, and also went out in a mailer, you can see that one of the numbers I like to cite is almost 4.5 billion gallons of wastewater treated, the 23,000 samples, these kind of big numbers to give folks a sense of the work that happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We continue to have 0 instances where pollution discharge limits are exceeded. Basically, no pollution. Basically, we met our permit limits all year. We submit to different agencies to make sure we get validation of the awards. These are from 2023. We submitted the ones for 2024. We'll get the same here this year. And we have the highest level of treatment on Puget Sound as compared to the other 57 treatment plants that are on Puget Sound. We're regulated that way, but we perform at about half of our permit limits, meaning we do twice as well as our permit limit state. So some of the treatment plants are bigger, some are smaller, but the highest level of treatment on Puget Sound in our community is something we should be proud of. And then what we do every year is we compare our rates. So lot has a treatment fee. If you add that to the city's charge for what you all charge for collecting that wastewater, you can see Tumwater here. It may not show up exactly here, but that larger purple bar at the bottom, that's where Tumwater is. So actually very low. So it's below the average for rates in our region. So when you compare highest level of treatment on Puget Sound with below average rates, we believe that provides good value to the community. We also submit for project awards to validate our work. The recent upgrade that we did, we won an award on the state for Project of the Year, as well as a national award, one of 8 designs in the entire country that won a national award from the Association of Consulting Engineering Firms. And we also reuse resources. That was part of our mission that I read before. So biogas is part of that is methane. We capture that methane and we produce heat and energy, electricity. So about 15% of our plant power can come from this biogas that comes off of our process. We capture it in boilers, and burn it. And so we can use it to heat the process, but we also heat our administration building. We heat the Hands-On Children's Museum next door. Our biosolids is a solid material that comes off the process. That is a product of doing high-level wastewater treatment. That goes over to Eastern Washington as part of a farmer-led program. And they use that material because it's rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, moisture. So those farmers don't have to use fertilizers like anhydrous ammonia. And also water reuse, because all of that water coming through the plant, we take a portion of it and have a final step where we create reclaimed water. It's called Class A reclaimed water. And Tumwater is actually the largest user of that reclaimed water. So the golf course pictured in the upper right uses 600,000 gallons per day of reclaimed water every day in the summer. That's a drop for drop offset that the city does not need to use potable water supplies, drinking water supplies. And it's a great resource to reuse, as well as used in irrigation all around other parts of downtown. And then when we build infrastructure, for example, at the golf course, that upper right picture, that's a storage tank we have in Tumwater over on T Street. That needs to provide the water for the golf course in that instantaneous daily flow. So we worked with the city of Tumwater, and you all came over and built a nice park on top of it that overlooks the Deschutes Valley. When we build infrastructure like our Hawks Prairie infiltration site, that's the picture on the bottom, that is infiltrating that reclaimed water into the groundwater That's an open, free public park out there in the Hawks Prairie area. It's kind of an oasis with all the development that's built up out there. And then just in front of the Hands-on Children's Museum, for example, there's a stream, demonstrating what reclaimed water can do, kind of a splash park for the kids. When we built our main administrative services building, the board at the time set forth a policy to put together a wet science center. And we've been operating that for about 15 years, educating students, doing treatment plant tours. Primarily it's middle school students, but families come in. On the weekends, we have speakers. And I pulled up some numbers from the Tumwater School District. And the Tumwater School District, all 5th grade classes come through our program. So it's not just a museum where people walk through. They can do that as well, but we have paid educators that connect with the curriculum of the Tumwater School District in this case. So about 400 students are learning the STEM curriculum. We connect with the career and technical education, middle school and high school. And our education manager actually serves on Tumwater's district CTE advisory board as well. When it comes to community connections for water quality, this is a pie chart that I like to show because it's from the Department of Ecology, and it shows the larger picture of oxygen depletion in a Bud Inlet. So Bud Inlet is our discharge where we send that cleaned water after it's treated through our main plant. And you can see the Bud Inlet treatment plant is only 3% of that oxygen depletion. I'm not showing that because that means that we don't need to do our work. We need to continue to do a high level of treatment at our Bud Inlet treatment plant, but it gives you a sense of where the oxygen depletion is also coming from, including Capitol Lake, that's 62% of that impact. External sources are those 57 other treatment plants I showed you on Puget Sound. And local non-point are things like septic tanks, stormwater runoff, things like that. So what we're taking this approach at LOT is to take care of that entire pie and contribute in our own way. So continue to do a high level of treatment at the Bud Inlet treatment plant, but also support water quality regulations on those other treatment plants that Ecology is pushing for. We're part of that Deschutes estuary approach in maintaining the estuary after it would be completed. Incentivizing septic to sewer conversion through discounts, as well as reducing water quality impacts from the unhoused population. So that's when you see affordable housing connection fee rebates, for example, as a way that we can contribute to that. And that approach, that holistic approach, has really been beneficial for partnerships such as the Squaxin Island Tribe. We signed an accord with the tribe in 2024. Just really exciting moment in time as we've continued to work with them on water quality. And that's getting this national attention, these awards that we've picked up on how we're looking holistically and taking a one water approach to treatment. Septic to sewer conversion rebates, a little bit about that. So every time somebody converts from septic tank to a sewer, it can be quite expensive. So the lot charge, we have a connection fee charge, similar to what the city charges for your own collection piping. So we provide a 50% discount for those connections, as well as a 50% discount for affordable housing. And so that can, with other incentive packages, that can incentivize more affordable housing coming to our community. So these two things combined, all told, there's a nexus to water quality that LOT receives a benefit from. When it comes to climate, we align with regional goals. So in 2015, Thurston County set a benchmark for 2015. And so remember, since 2015 and 2025, right, more people are moving to town. That's more pumps, water and everything we need to pump through our plant, more energy, more air we need to add for treatment. We're proud of the fact when it's a 30% decrease overall since that time and a 42% decrease when you consider a per capita basis on how we've been able to decrease our emissions. That's driven from the electric grid. We use a lot of power, so that's something that's not directly from us. We have made very smart project decisions on how we've implemented major changes to the plant to get that number consistently down each year, as you can see. So one of the other things I want to share with you tonight is also about how Tumwater can rest assured that LOT is doing its job to make sure that we're continue to do that high level of treatment as the city continues to grow in a way that you would like. So the way we plan for growth is doing annual planning. Some other cities that have their own treatment plant, for example, would build a treatment plant, a very large expansion, and they would grow into it over the next 20 years. What LOT does is very detailed annual planning where we do flow measurements out in the system. We look at how much rainwater is entering the different pipes. We look at how much nitrogen's coming to us. We have this analysis done that we compare to how our current assets, that's all of our pumps and all of our piping and all that is doing. We combine all that into a budget and capital improvements plan, and we do it on a 2-year basis. We roll that over, so we look at it on a 6-year and a 20-year basis as well, but we budget for it pretty tightly on a 2-year basis. And then we respond to that and make sure we're doing the right project at the right time. And by doing that, then you take advantage of the latest technology. You can delay some projects and move things around and make sure that we're upgrading certain parts of our treatment plant with the latest technology. Our recent project is like that, and we need to stay consistent at doing these big projects. As I mentioned, $1 billion of infrastructure. These are big projects we need to take on. This current one that you see, a big crane over in downtown Olympia working on this project, is our digesters. That's actually what creates that biosolids and that biogas. That's part of our process. You can give, you see scale on how small the people are. That's just one of 4 tanks that we need to rehabilitate. So very large project. Having some fun with the crane, naming, social media, the public named it Fraser Crane. It was just kind of a fun thing. Meanwhile, we're doing the consistent work to make sure that we can maintain our capital projects. While that's all happening, we're also testing new technologies. So we have a very robust pilot team that meets every month that tests out new technologies. And it's okay if some things don't work. I mean, it's a good investment if we try it out on a small scale and things don't quite work out. But when they do, we know we want to implement them on a full scale. So we have this technologies pilot team. We're making sure that we put in the latest technology. And part of that pilot team was working on another cool concept, is taking water reuse to the next level. And water reuse is great when we can use it on golf courses and all of that, and we have the main pipelines to get there. But a 2-pipe system where you have a reclaimed water line right next to a drinking water line, sometimes the economics don't really work out. Also, it rains much of the year here, so there's parts of the year that we could actually be using water in a different way. So what LOT's doing is going to demonstrate that you can take reclaimed water and take it that final step to create drinking water. And now this is just in a one-off situation. This isn't connecting to any pipes or doing anything like that. But LOT spends a lot of energy taking it from that broken raw wastewater product all the way to reclaimed water. And so to take it that final step is what we want to demonstrate. And it's also tied to LOT's future and making sure that we can handle growth as well, because the more reclaimed water that we can generate, the more the community can use, the less that's being discharged into Bud Inlet. So there's a future capacity piece here, but it's a really exciting thing for the community because climate change is here, climate change is coming, even more people are moving. Water rights are going to be an issue in the decades to come for our community. And so demonstrating that water should be judged by its quality and not its history is going to be the thing that unlocks this water resource to use in addition to groundwater supplies, in addition to reclaimed water. It's just a really exciting step that we're going to be taking next year. And then we look out to 2050. We're not planning on building new treatment plants. That was a model for LOT some decades ago. But because we're getting such a high level of treatment in our existing treatment plant, and because of where we're going with our planning and holistic water quality focus, we believe we can focus on our existing treatment facilities, not site any new ones, and collaborate regionally for water quantity, water quality, sea level rise, planning, those type of things. It's more of that, just continue to expanding that regional focus and partnerships that we like to be known for, but also you just see increasing in our community over the years, which includes property sales. Some of the properties that we purchased back in the early 2000s to build new treatment plants, we're selling those off. And there's a property here in the center we call the Deschutes Valley property. That's one in the Brewery Valley that we're working with city staff right now that Tumwater may purchase. And I can't forget staff that make it happen. As I mentioned, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our staff are getting in the pipes, doing the doing the work to make it happen. And so part of that future, making sure that we have things covered, is investing in our workforce. They're the ones constructing the projects, taking the samples, all of that. So we spend a lot of time focusing on making sure that we maintain our highly technical workforce. And it's through something primarily called the Lot Way. We indoctrinated our core values into these 6 elements. And these aren't, these are aspirational in some way, but actually they're very real and tangible. Solving problems and being innovative is kind of what we do and what our staff is really proud of. As one of our board members put it, leading with curiosity is a model for LOT. So you can see that in our voluntary turnover number rate, our rate there. We have low turnover because we do invest in our workforce, and we're very proud of the work that we do and meeting our mission. So I'll close it just that here in 2025, the secret to success that we see in 2050 is all those elements that I showed you, but being dedicated to the LOT mission at its core, it's a water quality focus, but being innovative and adaptive is what gotten us success to this point, and we're going to continue to do that. And ultimately, having that community support, having your support, being here, answering any questions that you have, that's how we're going to be successful through 2050. I'll stop there and take any questions you have.
Great, thank you. And we've had this great partnership for a very long time, and it is crucial to how we provide these resources to our community. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Agabi.
So about 2 weeks ago, I received a 4x4 card in the mail from LOT, and it has all the information in it. And over the years, you've given your presentation about your sludge production and how you ship that to Eastern Washington. What you haven't talked about is your what is your cubic meter methane that you produce per year or in any given period? And what do you do with the excess one that you're not using at your?
The biosolids in particular, the solid material?
Yes.
Yeah, so we produce about 60,000 pounds per day of biosolids, 5 days a week, on average, 5-6 days a week, depending on what we need to do. So that biosolids material is stabilized. It's called Class B biosolids, so it could be land applied in fields. So we don't have any excess, and that is part of that farmer-led program that I mentioned. It's in Eastern Washington because it's drier out there, and the farmers can manage that as opposed to lots of rain coming down and washing it off their fields. So we send out for beneficial reuse all of what we produce, 60,000 pounds per day.
All of the methane?
What's that?
All of the methane?
I'm sorry, say
You
that.
produce methane, right?
Yeah, methane. Yeah, methane.
Yes, what do you do with it? What do you use it on?
Right. So methane, we use all of our methane gas.
Yeah.
That methane comes off of where those biosolids are stabilized. That methane comes off, and we run that through boilers and an engine generator. So we produce electricity and heat from it. Yeah.
Okay.
So we reuse that. It's a pretty big offset to plant power.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilmember Von Holtz.
This is great, and we keep going to, I know all of us have heard about all the people that are going to be coming, especially to this area. And so you touched on what a great, you don't have very much of an attrition rate at all. And that's amazing. And I noticed that we have quite a few youth in our audience today. What are you doing to inspire people to want to do this? Are you working with, I know the 5th graders are going through, but what about the high school? What about Evergreen, South Puget Sound Community College? What are you doing to get people excited about?
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad you asked that because we're looking to expand the work that we've been doing at our Wet Science Center. Our Wet Science Center focus for years has been on middle school. So we integrate with the Tumwater School District, North Thurston, and Olympia. Tumwater's 5th grade, but 6th, 7th, or 8th, depending on the other school districts. And one of the things our board is wanting us to do is expand into high schools. What we find with high schools, it's harder to get high school students kind of out of the classroom and to dedicate that time for the field trips. So I think that next level is going out to the high schools more directly. And so we're studying that now as far as what resources that would take in addition for our education program. We have plans for maybe restarting some, night talks or more things on the weekends that we could do. and certainly messaging out about what careers look like, for example. So that's something that you'll see. We have a new campaign that we're going to come out with, just facts about lot that you may not know. And so some of the people that you see in those pictures, it'll feature what they do, and you can click on a link and it'll take you about jobs in this type of field. So kind of hitting it from all angles. Yeah.
Councilmember Swarthout.
Thank you. That was one of the questions I had too, as far as what type of people are you looking for? What kind of careers are, because I understand that like the people that actually operate the plant, that they have licenses and they have to study and everything that's required to achieve their licenses. So I was wondering, what are you looking for? What type of positions?
Yeah.
People.
To answer your question, I'll start off. The people that are most successful at lot and the people we're looking for are the people that believe in the mission, that really have this environmental focus, that they want to do a job at lot because of what we do. That's often how people come to us, because job openings don't come open that often with that turnover rate as I showed you. But we have a variety of different jobs. That's the good thing. So we have engineering pathways, construction pathways in our laboratory. Our operator is a great connection that I would like people to know about. We have quite a few applicants, but you can just come in with basic, pass an aptitude test, and you get into a pool of candidates that we train you up on how to be a wastewater treatment plant operator. And it's a pretty good paying career. You can make six figures at higher levels. And it takes 2.5 years just to get from an apprenticeship all the way to be an operator. And even then, it probably takes another 5 to really be responsible for certain areas. So dedication to the mission and, that willingness to put in the time and learn, that's going to be the key.
Great. Any other questions? Councilmember Daha.
Thank you. I'll give you shout outs because I serve on your board and I think it's an amazing organization. And what I appreciate is the meld of policy and science and environment, right? And that you have always been open to leading with curiosity and empowering not just your staff, but the board. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next month at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. This is a great presentation, and it's something that a lot of our community members don't get to see unless they go there. And then, so this is great information.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. Our next item on our agenda is public comment. Can I have one of the staff members grab the sign-in sheet? So while we're getting the sign-in sheet, I want to say that this time we will be taking public comment, and the comments on the items relating to city business, not on the schedule for a public hearing, which we have no public hearing this evening. And when I call your name, please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state your name and contact information for the record. And each individual will be limited to 3 minutes. And there is a clock there that will be timing. And speakers are not comment upon, promote, or advocate for or oppose speaking against pending initiatives, ballot measures, or candidates. All comments shall be directed towards the council as a whole and not individual council members, and not to members of the audience. And we just wish everyone to refrain from disrupting behavior. So with that, I have 2 individuals on the list so far. First, do we have anyone signed in virtually? No one's virtually. So the first person is Lisa Johnson. If you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name's Lisa Johnson. I live at 5813 Swain Drive, Northeast, Olympia, 98516. I very much appreciate being here tonight to speak to Mayor Sullivan, you, and the rest of the council. And thank you for allowing me to speak about World Relief and its work in our community. I represent Olympia Indivisible and its immigrant justice team. And I'm sorry that no one from World Relief could come tonight. It was kind of short notice and they all had work obligations. But as you may know, we have welcomed 184 refugees to Thurston County since April of 2023. But as of late January of this year, all federal funds have been eliminated for bringing new legal immigrants to our country, and all funds to support immigrants already here were rescinded. I've worked with World Relief Thurston County, which is the local office of the National Refugee Resettlement Agency, from May 2023 until the present time, to welcome a large family of 9 from Somalia. I've been impressed with the agency's commitment to justice and to empowerment of those who they welcome here. And they now have no funding outside of donations to do their work. I've also been blown away by the strength of character, the motivation, and the kindness of the family we helped to root and empower over these last 2 years here in our community. And I could tell you more about them if you're interested. But now, without immediate local support, new refugees may lose access to vital services that help them establish stability in our community. I would like to explore with you ways that we can help local refugees as our neighbors to settle successfully in our cities. As you may be aware, the Olympia City Council provided emergency funds to World Relief to help with this effort. As a member of Olympia Indivisible and its immigrant justice team, I'm requesting that your city council make a donation to World Relief as well. Supporting immigrants and refugees aligns with, I believe, Tumwater's mission of inclusion, equity, and the well-being of its citizens. It says so much about a community when its people help new members who need a hand up. So thank you for considering our proposal.
Great, thank you. Next name on the list is Betsy Norton. And your name and address for the record?
Hi, my name is Betsy Norton. I live at 1405 Evergreen Park Drive Southwest, Olympia, 98502. I am here actually on behalf of the South Sound Bird Alliance, used to be called the Black Hills Audubon Society. And I'd just like to make a brief comment on the Olympia Airport Master Plan. Dear Council, since the Port of Olympia shared with you their perspective on the Olympia Airport development, we just wanted to share our perspective on the Airport Master Plan. We're very concerned about the impacts on your wildlife, their habitat, and the surrounding environment. I'm attaching a statement we made to the Port on 2/12/25, which has maps in more detail, explaining why we see development as a potential extinction threat for the Olympia pocket gophers and the streaked-horned larks, both of them federally listed as threatened by the Endangered Species Act. The footnotes also include a link to the 2022 U.S. Fish and Wildlife Status Report and Recovery Plan for the Mazama pocket gopher, which has some very interesting specifics about the Olympia Airport threat. Our view is that the Olympia Airport is the last best habitat for the ESA listed Olympia pocket gopher, which is why U.S. Fish and Wildlife designated 600 acres of the airport property as critical habitat for them in 2014. And that's why we see such a threat from a plan which would remove as much as 340 acres, which is 56% of that habitat, from the airport grounds. The airport's also habitat for the federally threatened streaked-horned larks, which are only protected through 2029 on airport property through a memorandum of understanding between the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and the FAA. From a wildlife view, from a wildlife view, development on and around the airport that allows for 85% impervious surface per your zoning rules, busy roadways, and increased aviation operations pose a significant threat to the survival of both species. Wildlife don't observe parcel boundaries, zoning lines, and project boundaries. So environmental analysis of the impacts to them must be cumulative, especially when contemplating a large build-out plan like the airport master plan. In addition, when the question is about survival or extinction of a species, we think it's critical that impact assessments be comprehensive and rigorous. That's why we're asking for an environmental impact statement study to be performed for the airport master plan. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, those are the only ones signed up on the list. Does anyone else wish to make a public comment? Oh, you can hand it to the clerk. Thank you. All right. Before we move on to the next item, which is consent calendar, I want to recognize we have several, I'm assuming high school students on a U.S. government or American history class. Which school are you with? That's what I thought. Are you Mr. Haywood? Okay, great. So that was a wild guess, sorry. So thank you and welcome, and I hope this is definitely something that you will learn from. So thank you. So with that, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Althauser. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, I will take Councilmember Jefferson. So, any discussion on the motion? With that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. And with that, we have approved the minutes of the City Council work session of April 8th, approval of the City Council meeting of May 6th, payment vouchers, the 2025 Comprehensive Plan Middle Housing Grant Contract with the Department of Commerce, Amendment 1, Small Government Enterprise Agreement Renewal with ESRI, Integrated Planning Grant with the Department of Ecology, Amendment 1, an advisory board appointment of Sherry McAfee and Matt Browerman to the Barnes Lake Management District Steering Committee. And for those who are curious, you have to be a resident of Barnes Lake to serve on that committee. It's a self-governing committee. So with that, now we do not have any other business this evening. So we are going to move to committee reports. First one will be Public Health and Safety, Councilmember Agabi.
Thank you, Mayor. So on May 13th, we have our Public Health and Safety Committee meeting. On our agenda, we have FD Care, and we have staff from that program came and give us status report. And then we have a crisis response presentation by Joe Avalos. And reading through my chicken scratch note here, it says that the CBC team, it says that now they've applied for an application, they've been granted a status and they'll start providing services. And then we talked about Thurston County District Court update. And then we talked about the floor camera systems, specifically about the budget and I want to see the appendices, but not the appendices, but the schedule that goes to into how you present a budget. So we talked about those, and that was that I recall.
Great.
Oh, I'm sorry. So one very important thing that we did discuss was as part of our additional items was the immigration issue and how and what the city is doing. And we asked the city manager to make available to the city, to us, the city policy about immigration issue and how the city deal with our issues regarding that policy. I think that's that.
Okay, great. Thank you. General Government Committee, Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor. The General Government Committee met on Wednesday, May 14th. We had a pretty packed agenda. We started off by talking about our 2025 comp plan periodic update, about the lands for public purposes and utilities amendments. For committee members, there is an email from Brad with a write-up of that discussion, as well as some attachments that we could review as part of our homework assignment to submit some feedback. We also talked about another annexation petition, not dissimilar from the one that we approved as a council a few weeks ago. There was also a food system plan update. That was our second meeting in that series to discuss Tumwater's food security system, as well as kind of what we were looking to achieve through enactment of that plan. We also accepted a grant, or rather we made an amendment to a grant that we've already accepted from the Department of Commerce about our middle housing plan. And then we made another amendment to a planning grant with the Department of Ecology as well. Those were now accepted at this meeting on the consent calendar.
Great, thank you. Public Works Committee, Councilmember Swarthout.
Thank you, Mayor. We will be meeting on Thursday at 8 a.m. and we have 8 items on the agenda this time. So it's a very ambitious agenda. I won't read them all to you. And hopefully we'll be done in time for the picnic at 11.
Great, thank you. And then the Budget and Finance Committee will meet this Friday. And we will be doing our monthly financial update report. We will be doing discussing bond underwriting engagement letter, and also doing more discussion and on ordinance 2025-006, which amends the contracts, execution of contracts and other legal documents. And so we're having more discussion and then bring it to council. So that is Friday. All right, with that, we'll go to the Mayor's City Administrator report. And I forgot to mention earlier that City Administrator Parks and our City Attorney, Karen will be there remote this evening. So I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the meeting. So I will turn it over to City Administrator Parks.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, council members. Just a couple of quick items for you tonight. I wanted to report to you that our community survey project is progressing very well. The statistically valid portion of that survey is complete. If you may recall, during the presentation from our consulting firm, our goal was to get at least 250 respondents to that statistically valid survey. And I understand that we did make that goal. And in fact, we were able to reach 268 complete respondents for that statistically valid portion of the survey. So that's great news. That also means, with that wrapping up, that we are kicking off the community engagement survey, which is, again, the same general survey questions like to take that survey. So it is live as of yesterday, I believe. It is on our website. So if you go to the website, it's in both the banner as well as it will be shortly in the news section of our website. We have a variety of techniques for getting the word out about that survey. We have a list of over 830 email addresses from a variety of different city sources. Jason Wetstein, our communications manager, has drafted an email, and he's going to be sending that email to all of those addresses in manageable chunks. I believe some of those have already gone out. And we're actually going to ask both our council members as well as our board and commission members to please forward that email to your contact lists, so we can get a lot of respondents and information from people that are on your contact lists, as well as those that we have here at the city officially. And I think if you are concerned at all about duplicating our emails, I would just ask you to check in with Jason. He and his staff have done a great job of compiling those email addresses and can pretty quickly let you know whether or not somebody that you might intend to send the email to would be included already in an email that went out from Jason. So that the email is basically going to have a link to the survey, an invitation to fill the survey out, and a request to share that the link and the email with whomever anybody would choose to do so. We also then are intending to have some ongoing social media outreach throughout this process. And then we have a series of flyers that we intend to distribute out to local places such as the Osho Cultural Center and Old Town Center, any place where people congregate. If you have some suggestions of where you think it might be helpful to have those flyers, please, again, just reach out to Jason and his team. I'm sure they would be happy to take those flyers out where they can be picked up. The second thing I'd like to bring to your attention is that on May 31st, which is Saturday, there is the first Elevate Fair that's being put on by our arts and recreation folks. It is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Osho Cultural Center. And the idea here is that we're celebrating the intersection of art and sustainability. So it's going to highlight local artists that are using sustainable practices, various cultural approaches, and or creative reuse of materials. So there's going to be art, food, culture, and fun. Super excited to have that event happening and coming up. Next, just a quick note, we have there's going to be some traffic lanes that are going to be reduced on Little Rock Road at Summerhill Court Southwest. Puget Sound Energy is installing new underground power lines. And so work is going to continue probably at least until Friday this week. So there might be intermittent alternate one-way traffic in order to facilitate that project. And then lastly, just a reminder that City Hall is going to be closed this coming Monday in observance of Memorial Day. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Great, thank you. So
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilmember Kathy.
Thank you. Thanks for all that, Lisa. I wanted to, could you say the date and the time again for the art show?
Yeah, so for the Elevate Fair, it's May 31st. So it's a week from this coming Saturday, and it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Thank you. Got some people I want to encourage to come.
Absolutely.
Great. All right. So for my report, some of the highlights of some of the things I've done. I attended the League of Women Voters Thurston Forward Conference on May 10th, as well, and with attendance was our communications manager, who was on the committee and did some great work. That was quite a turnout for that event, and it was, and how that event has grown from just having a panel discussion to what that event was that day, that Saturday, was remarkable. So there was a lot there. I attended the Thurston Chamber annual meeting on May 14th, and the guest speaker there was Governor Ferguson, and so he gave his report. I attended a day-and-a-half conference for the Association of Washington Cities on their Legislative Priorities Committee, and we reviewed what the legislature did, what that had to do with cities, and kind of what of our next steps are looking forward. And then I attended Party in the Park last Saturday, which is the wrap-up of the season for kids who play baseball. So it's the 12 baseball teams, and it was great to see all the young kids there. I think the age range is from kindergarten to 11 years old, and there was 12 teams, and it was just great. And so my next meeting, my assignment is I'm on the Economic Development Council, and our meeting will be next Tuesday, the 28th, and we will be having our meeting at the Tenino Ag Park, and then we will end up doing another event at the Ag Park. So that'll be very interesting. I have not been to the Ag Park yet, so that'll be very fascinating for that. So I will now move on to council member reports, and let me start in Zoom land. So Council Member Jefferson, are you ready?
I am ready, Mayor. On the 8th of May, Tumwater Hopes met, and we discussed medicine take back, collected 2-gallon Ziploc bags of medication, and we handed out 2 safe storage containers, along with starts with 1 campaign materials and information. One of the most important things that we also did was in collaboration with our Tumwater Fire Department and ESD 113 and the Washington Healthcare Authority, we had an event where it was called Hidden in Plain Sight. And at the event, there was a walkthrough of a mock teen bedroom where parents learned how to identify 70 plus items that may indicate risky behaviors. They learned about local youth trends and data, and in order to gain valuable tools to navigate what these teens are going through. We also had medication pickup boxes at the site. And most important, they attended a Talk We Hear You presentation. It was successful, but I appreciated the fact that we're all collaborating together. Also on today, the Experience Olympia and Beyond, we discussed the candidate selection process for our new executive director, and it's now narrowed down to 3 excellent candidates. We reviewed legislative updates and discussed the impact of the World Cup to our region. We have sports award coming up June 4th at SPSCC, and we were seeing that it was the same people, same schools who were providing names, and we would just like more involvement from other schools. So it's going to take a little push on their part to get that done, but that's my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Kathy.
Thank you, Mayor. Did you say you went to the opening of a baseball thing down?
No, it was the season wrap up of the baseball season for the youth. It's the teams through the Parks and Rec Department.
I was just remembering going to that once when I got there and I had to throw out the first ball. No.
That was what I got to do. Yes. And it makes you practice of, I used to play in a softball league, but that was a few years ago, and trying to get that over to the catcher was quite interesting. Yeah.
Did you get it across? Did you get it across the plate?
I did, and he caught it. That was even more amazing.
Good, good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it all worked out. No embarrassment on anyone's part.
All right, good. I wanted to give a report about the ORCA meeting that I went to. As I said at the last meeting or something, that I had the cancellation of my Solid Waste Advisory Council for this past month. So we'll meet again in June. But the Clean Air Agency met, and this is just really hard times, if you're paying any attention at all, that all of the stuff that has to do with the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is just under fire in this new administration that we're in. I'm talking about nationally. And we are fortunate that some of our money for clean air in this, our region, our 5-county region, it comes down, it comes from the state. So we're not as dependent on the flow down under the air. Now we're just talking about the money for clean air. And so we're moving ahead with our fingers crossed, and I'll keep you updated if anything changes or we lose some of our ability for clean air. But we're doing really well in this county with our air and our air monitoring. And so I think that's going to be in the future one of the reasons why people choose to live here, because of the clean air and also water. So anyway, that's my report, and I'll keep you up to date how we navigate the national EPA.
Great, thank you.
That's my report.
Great, thanks. Councilmember Swarthout.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. On May 8th, I attended the electric ferry demonstration that was held at Port Plaza. They had a 12-passenger electric boat, hydrofoil, I guess you call it, that's built by the Artemis Technologies. They're out of Ireland. And so, and they are currently working on a 150-passenger boat that is expected to be launched later this year. So they've been using it up in the North Islands, up Scotland and Ireland in that area. And so what's exciting for us is that we've always heard that that they talked about the mosquito fleet. And people remember back in the day when the little boats would go back and forth in the Puget Sound. And so there, and we've talked about, oh, we should have a ferry that goes from Olympia to Seattle. And so there's always been this kind of an urban legend or something that you couldn't go that fast, and they were worried about the destruction from the grounds and from the wake that it might, that it would concern, that could affect the ground and everything. And so it's always been I just remember Senator Hunt, like, we couldn't do this. And so that bill's been around and it's been kicked around for a long, long time. But this one, it seems like it's something that might be able to gain some fruit. And so they've currently are working with, they entered a memorandum of understanding for manufacturing services with Delta Marine. That's a luxury boat builder up in Tukwila. And right now they've just kind of hinted around that it might go as far as Des Moines, but it's just in the infancy stages. And so it's just really exciting to just have get people off of I-5 and have a more beautiful and just electric ferry. It would be interesting. So cost effective. So, and then on Saturday, I attended the South Sound Climate Action Convention program that was held out at Evergreen, and they offered a series of different sessions that you could attend, and it was really interesting. So things from climate and heat plans to we were talking about EVs and our land plans as far as our land use elements, and also it was very well attended. They had quite a few people there, so that was my Saturday. That is it.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor. The Regional Housing Council has not met since our last council meeting, but we do have a retreat coming up, not this coming Friday, but the week after that, where we're going to do some strategic planning and also examination of our goals and our mission and our vision to achieve them. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Delhoff.
Thank you, Mayor. Thurston 911 Communications met. We went over our 2024 annual report. So I know it's a moment, Eileen, Councilmember likes to know here numbers because no one else cares, but Eileen and I care. Do you have any idea how many calls Tumwater got for fire EMS events dispatched?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for playing with me. 4,734 calls. And to put that in perspective with Lacey and Olympia, Lacey had 16,409. Olympia had 15,252. So just put it in perspective. For law enforcement events dispatched, Tumwater was 19,347. And then put that in perspective with Olympia and Lacey. Olympia had 55,545, and Lacey had 43,420. So that's what we went over. And then as we move forward in 2025 with TCOM, what do these numbers mean? Are there any trends? And so working with our police and fire and TCOM and using data better to tell a story of what they're seeing in trends and how does that play back to the policies that we're developing that we need to support our fire and police. So more to come, but just to put it in perspective with our calls. And then Lot, who you just heard from Matt Kennelly tonight, we're going over a lot of policy updates with Lot as well. And the last thing is I know that Lisa Johnson, who's Volunteers for World Relief, came and talked tonight. I'm wondering, maybe this is for Administrator Parks, who I can't see, but I know is there. Could we have an update? I know that she's been talking to Lisa Johnson and World Relief, and Kelly Adams has. I'm wondering if council can have an update about some options of what does collaboration and support look like for community members, and what could one of those, I always count how long it takes for me to talk to Lisa to come on screen. The option of any budgetary, I know that Administrator Parks had talked about the human services application, but I'm wondering if we can get an update at some point and what additional options are to provide support.
I can certainly ask Kelly to gather up some information. Kelly Adams has been the person that is going to be working directly with Lisa Johnson and the group. I have done my own conversations, I guess, with my colleagues. So the city of Lacey, as well as you heard Ms. Johnson talk about the city of Olympia having contributed dollars. I will provide a report in the next few weeks once I have an opportunity to talk to Kelly and see where we're at with that.
Perfect.
Minimally, there are ways in which we can help refer people to refer the current family as they have needs, and or any other families that are located here in our community. We can certainly come up with ways that we can provide some referral, whether it's job training or resources that we have knowledge and influence in. So
Perfect. The one thing I'd also like to do is if council is interested to making and passing a motion to provide monetary support from the general fund as well, if that could be something for discussion as well, I'd appreciate it.
absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Council Member Agabi.
Thank you, Mayor. So it must have been a 2 weeks of lot activities and initiative, because on May 14th, we had a presentation from LOT by Mr. Connolly, and it was very, very extensive, as was done tonight. And we talked about high capacity transportation policy statement. Staff gave a presentation to us regarding for the updated statement that would be given to us at June TPB meeting as an action item. And then we took a very long time to talk about bicycle connectivity strategy. And well, I'm not a biker. My kids bike, but we had about 40 minutes of bike. And some of us at that meeting, not me, took, well, I wouldn't say they were, well, they expressed frustration with the plan that was laid out to us. It gives the impression that bicycle connectivity is the sole mode of transportation that we were about at the Transportation Board, which is not what that ought to be. So from that angle, some of the presenter presented that, well, you know, I'm not able to ride my bike on XYZ because I have to fight traffic, I have to do this, I have to do that. So can we make sure that we don't have it seems to me that they were asking to have a special lane dedicated to bike riding. Recently, the governor just signed into law a bill that allows cities to have a 10 miles per hour shared streets. What that means is that in non-arterial streets, so for example, back road, you can have a 10 miles per mile where both cars, pedestrian, and oxen and cart can both share the road, and none of them is yielding to the other party. So that is one thing that was discussed here, and 2 days ago or 3 days ago, the governor just signed that into law. So that was my TPB activities on May 14. So my other meeting is upcoming for JASCOM. For JASCOM, we used to meet every month, but now we meet every other month. So this is our non-meeting month. Our meeting month is June, I believe, 10 or 9, thereabout. So that is my report.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Von Holtz.
Thank you, Mayor. I missed a week of meetings, so I'm still filling off because I had a business trip to Canada. So now I love hockey, Nickelback, and poutine. So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I have intercity transit tomorrow night, which I'm excited about because one of the agenda items is voting on the contract that was finally approved by the driver. So I'm excited about that. We did have public health and safety, and so thank you, Councilmember Agabi, for bringing up, back in January, around January 20th, to be exact, Tumwater was all over our social media, with false claims that ICE was in the area, that they were at Home Depot, that they were at Costco, and that they were grabbing people. There was a TikTok that said that Tumwater police were on Capitol outside of Ramirez and pulling people over only to hand them over to ICE. Not true. That never happened. In fact, our own policy states that the police will not detain individuals solely for the purpose of determining their immigration status. So I had asked back in January, and I had asked again in an email, and then last public health and safety meeting asked again that we somehow promote what our policy is. It doesn't have to be a political statement. It's just saying the facts of what our police will or will not do with regard to immigration. We all sit at this dais because we care about Tumwater. We care about the community who lives here, and we need for our community members to feel safe. And there are some members of our community who do not, and they need to know that they can rely on our police and our city to make sure that they're safe here. So, and that's the end of my report.
Great, thank you. So with that, that took care of all of our business this evening. So we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.